continue with the topic. Next topic that I will be taking it is hemorrhoids. So what is this hemorrhoids? So hemorrhoids are also known as piles. Okay, hemorrhoids are also known as piles. So this is painful, swollen, enlarged blood vessels, enlarged bulging blood vessels in the lower portion of the rectum and anus. So hemorrhoids, it is also known as piles. So this is painful, swollen, enlarged bulging blood vessels. Okay, so this is a painful, swollen, enlarged bulging blood vessels. Okay, so that is, it is painful, swollen, enlarged bulging blood vessels around the vessels in the lower portion of the rectum and anus. So what is this hemorrhoids? So hemorrhoids are nothing but piles. So this is usually painful, swollen, enlarged bulging blood vessels in the lower portion of the rectum and anus. Okay, so there will be painful, that is blood vessels bulge, enlarged, painful, as well as swelling will be seen in the lower portion of the rectum and anus. So that is, there will be like this can be seen in the blood vessels in the lower portion of the rectum and anus. So there are different types of hemorrhoids, that is external hemorrhoids and internal hemorrhoids. Okay, there are different types of hemorrhoids, that is external hemorrhoids and internal hemorrhoids. So what is this external hemorrhoids? The name only suggests that it might be located under the skin. Okay, it is usually located under the skin around the anus, and it is covered by sensitive skin. Okay, it is covered by sensitive skin and it is painless. Okay, it is usually painless. So what is happening in this external hemorrhoids? So they are usually located around the skin, under the skin. Okay, they are usually located under the skin around the anus. Okay, it is usually located under the skin, that is around the anus, and it is covered by sensitive skin. So it is usually painless. So that is external hemorrhoids. So next is internal hemorrhoids. So internal hemorrhoids are usually developed within the anus. Okay, which is developed within the anus beneath the lining. Okay, it usually occurs within the anus and beneath the lining. So therefore usually painful. It will be painful. Bleeding can be seen. Okay, bleeding can also be seen. So that is, it can protrude or prolapse through the anus. Okay, so this internal hemorrhoids can protrude or prolapse through the anus. So that is different classification of hemorrhoids. So hemorrhoids are usually classified into internal hemorrhoids and external hemorrhoids. Internal hemorrhoids or external hemorrhoids are those hemorrhoids in which it is located under the skin around the anus. It usually occurs under the skin around the anus. So this is usually covered by very sensitive skin. Whereas internal hemorrhoids, it usually occurs within the anus beneath the lining, and it causes protrusion and prolapse in the anus. So that will be painful as well as bleeding will be there. So what might be the causes? So causes, it might be anal sex, aging, cuffing, severe cuffing, lifting heavy objects regularly, heredity, pregnancy, anal infection, chronic constipation, diarrhea, obesity, prolonged sitting. Okay, prolonged sitting, or if there is chronic liver disease. Okay, if there is chronic liver disease. So these are usually the causes of this hemorrhoids. So normally what is that? So that is usually seen as that the causes might be anal sex, pregnancy and childbirth, obesity, lifting heavy objects regularly, prolonged sitting, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic liver disease, severe coughing, chronic constipation. So these are usually the causes of this hemorrhoids. So next is symptoms. Symptoms I've already that they will be painful, bleeding will be there. So this blood will be seen in the spots, will be seen in the stools. So that is usually itching will be there around the anal region. Okay, itching will be there, irritation and itching will be there around the anal region. And then usually what is that? When they are sitting, okay, pain will be increased when they are sitting. Okay, when they are sitting. And then swelling around the anus, leakage of feces. So swelling around the anus and leakage of feces. So it will be painful, bleeding, blood spots can be seen in the stool. Pain will be increased when they are sitting. Itching and irritation will be there around the anus. Swelling can be seen in the anus, and then leakage of the feces. So these are usually the symptoms that is usually associated with this hemorrhoids. So next is diagnostic evaluation. So diagnostic evaluation is usually done history collection and physical examination. Complete blood count will be checked. Then rectal examination will be done. Colonoscopy, anoscopy or proctoscopy or sigmoidoscopy will be done. Barium enema or X-ray will be done. So diagnostic evaluation, we go with history collection or physical examination. Rectal examination, colonoscopy, sigmoidoscopy, anoscopy or proctoscopy will be done. Barium enema or X-ray will be done. So this is usually about this diagnostic test that is usually done in case of hemorrhoids. So next is management. So management, it mainly includes like lifestyle modification. Okay, it mainly involves lifestyle modification. So first is warm sitz bath. Okay, warm sitz bath. So you all know what is sitz bath. So you would have studied in your first year. This procedure, everything you have studied in your first year. So this warm sitz bath should be given. That is a few inches in the, like they have to sit in the warm water. Okay, they have to sit in the warm water at least for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, at least for 15 to 20 minutes, and this should be done every 3 times a day. Okay, it should be done every 3 times a day. And then it usually helps in decreasing the inflammation of the hemorrhoids. Okay, it usually decreases the inflammation of the hemorrhoids. Now after sitting, they have to dry up the anal region immediately. So that is usually about this thing. So normally what is that? Warm sit bath should be given, so that they have to sit in the warm water for at least 15 to 20 minutes, and it should be done 3 times a day. This will reduce the inflammation of the hemorrhoids. Then dietary changes should be done. That is, fiber rich diet should be taken. Okay, fiber rich diet should be taken, like fruits, vegetables, whole gram should be taken. Then fluids, they have to drink lots of fluids. Okay, they have to drink lots of fluids, at least 8 glass a day. Okay, at least 8 glass a day. So that is usually done. Then stool softener. Okay, they can have the stool softener. If they are facing difficulty to pass stools, then they can use the stool softeners. So next is over the counter analgesics or suppositories. Okay, they have to use this over the counter analgesics or suppositories. So that is, they can go with using like hemorrhoid cream. The topical creams can be applied. Okay, topical creams can be applied, or they can use the suppositories also. Okay, they can use the suppositories also, can be used. So this is usually about this the lifestyle modification that we have to do. So it is warm sitz bath, dietary changes, fluid, stool softeners, and then over the counter analgesics or suppositories can be done. So it is usually about this thing. Other than that, surgical management, we go with like invasive procedure. Okay, minimum invasive procedure that we go with is a rubber band ligation. So rubber band ligation. So in this, usually what happens, like the doctor places special rubber band, okay, tiny special rubber band around the base of the hemorrhoids. Okay, the doctor will place tiny special rubber band around the base of the hemorrhoids. So this usually what happens, this rubber band will cut off the circulation around the hemorrhoids. Okay, so this cut off, it is usually cuts off the circulation around the hemorrhoids and causes the hemorrhoids to shrink. Okay, and causing the hemorrhoids to shrink. So what is that? It is nothing but like minimal invasive procedure that we include is rubber band ligation. So rubber band ligation, where doctor will place a special rubber band around the hemorrhoids. This will cut off the circulation and shrinks the hemorrhoids. So next is usually what happens, sclerotherapy. So next minimal invasive procedure is sclerotherapy. Sclerotherapy, it is an injection, like it is an injection of a chemical solution. Like it is injection of a chemical solution which is administered directly within the hemorrhoids. Okay, so that is usually what happens. It is directly administered to the hemorrhoid tissue. It usually shrinks the hemorrhoids. So sclerotherapy, it is an injection of the chemical solution. Okay, it is an injection of the chemical solution which is administered directly within the hemorrhoid tissue. So sclerotherapy works to shrink hemorrhoids. So that is usually about this minimal invasive procedure, that is rubber band ligation and sclerotherapy. Rubber band will be placed around the rubber band ligation. Rubber bands will be placed around the hemorrhoids, will shrink the hemorrhoids by cutting off the circulation. Next, sclerotherapy, chemical injection will be sprayed administered directly to the hemorrhoid tissue, which shrinks the hemorrhoids. An invasive procedure it includes hemorrhoidectomy. Okay, invasive procedure it includes hemorrhoidectomy. In this, the surgeon removes the excessive tissue that causes bleeding. Okay, removes the excessive tissue that causes bleeding. So it is done under local anesthesia. Okay, it is usually done under local anesthesia combined with general anesthesia or spinal anesthesia. So it is usually about this. So where they will completely remove the hemorrhoids. So normally invasive procedure includes hemorrhoidectomy. In this procedure, the surgeon removes the excessive tissue that causes bleeding. So this is usually about this hemorrhoids. So hemorrhoids, it is nothing but painful. Hemorrhoids are nothing but painful. It usually includes like painful. So what is hemorrhoids? So hemorrhoids is nothing but it will be like painful. Swelling will be there around the blood vessels. Extension will be there around the blood vessels, which usually causes this hemorrhoids. So hemorrhoids, it is also known as piles. So this is usually painful, swelling, extension, and bulging of the blood vessels will be seen around the lower portion of the rectum and the anus. Okay, lower portion of the rectum and the anus. So this is usually about this hemorrhoids. So next is appendicitis. So you all know what is appendicitis. Appendicitis, it is inflammation of the appendix. Okay, appendicitis, it is the inflammation of the appendix. So that is usually about this appendicitis. So appendicitis, it is nothing but inflammation of the appendix. So what are the causes of this appendix? It can be like due to hardened stool, enlarged lymphoid follicles, intestinal worms, injury or tumor. So what is that appendicitis? It is nothing but inflammation of the appendix. So it is usually a finger-shaped pouch. Okay, it is usually a finger-shaped pouch that projects from the colon on the lower right side of the abdomen. Okay, so that is appendicitis. It is an inflammation of the appendix. So it is a finger-shaped pouch. Okay, it is usually a finger-shaped pouch that projects from the colon on the lower right side of the abdomen. Okay, that projects from the colon on the lower right side of the abdomen. So this is a finger-shaped pouch. Okay, it is a finger-shaped pouch that projects. It is a finger-shaped pouch that projects from the colon on the projects from the colon to the on the right side of on the lower right side of the abdomen. So what are the causes? It might be due to hardened stool, any injury, any tumor, intestinal worms, or if there is excessive enlarged lymphoid follicles, or if there is any infection. These are the causes of this appendicitis. What are the symptoms? Pain will be seen, especially in the lower abdominal region, that is McBurney's point. Okay, the pain which we see, that is in the right side of the lower abdomen point, it is usually known as McBurney's point. So pain will be seen in the McBurney point. So pain will be increased when they cough, when they walk, or when they make some jerky movements. Okay, so that is that time also the pain usually increases. So pain usually, there will be presence of pain which begins in the right side of the abdomen, lower abdomen, which begins at the right side of the lower abdomen, that is in the McBurney's point. So then pain usually increases when they cough, when they walk, when they make some jerky movements. So that time also the pain usually increases. So next is nausea, vomiting will be there, loss of appetite will be there, fever will be there, constipation or diarrhea will be there, blotting can be present, and flatulence. So normally like the symptoms, it will be there will be pain in the McBurney's, but this lower right side of the abdomen. Pain increases when they walk, make some jerky movements, or when they cough. And nausea, vomiting will be there, loss of appetite, fever, constipation or diarrhea will be there, and also they will be having blotting as well as flatulence. So diagnosis. So diagnosis, it is mainly done by physical examination, where they will be assessing the point, that is McBurney's point, if they are having pain. Blood test will be done, where WBC will be increased due to the presence of, which indicates there is presence of infection. And urine test will be done. So this usually checks for UTI or any kidney stone that is causing the pain. Okay, so that is, this is mainly to check out the exact reason for the pain. UTI will be done. It is mainly to check whether pain is due to UTI or any renal stone if it is present. So that is also done. Imaging test, X-ray will be done, CT scan will be done, MRI will be done, abdominal ultrasound will be done. That is, X-ray will be taken, ultrasound will be done, CT scan and MRI scan. So this is a diagnosis which is meant for the appendicitis. So that is physical examination to assess pain. WBC count, blood test will be done for checking out the WBC. If there is high WBC count, then it indicates infection. And then urine test to check the UTI, the pain is due to UTI, or they will also do with renal calculi test, like renal calculi will be also checked whether the pain is due to renal calculi. Then they go with other imaging studies, that is X-ray, CT scan, MRI scan and ultrasound. That is usually about this diagnosis. Management. So appendicitis is mainly done through surgery. Surgical management only is done. So that is mainly appendicitis, appendectomy it is done. So before surgery they usually prescribe antibiotics. So before surgery they usually prescribe antibiotics. So appendectomy, so this is usually performed like open surgery is performed, where incision will be made in the abdomen for about 2 to 4 inches. Okay, where incision will be made in the abdomen for about 2 to 4 inches long, or the surgery will be done through small abdominal incision, that is laparoscopic surgery. That is, open surgery can also be done, laparoscopic surgery will be done. Open surgery, if you are doing, so the incision will be made about 2 to 4 inches, and or else if it is laparoscope, small incision will be done to remove the appendix. So this is usually about this appendectomy. So appendicitis, it is nothing but inflammation of the appendix. So appendix, it is usually finger-shaped pouch which is usually projects from the colon to the abdominal wall. So that is usually there. So that is about this appendicitis. So this is about this hemorrhoids and appendicitis.